Hi, my name's Kat, and today I'll be talking about fake news. Donald Trump murdered Barack Obama's turkeys. Millions of votes for Hillary Clinton were illegal, and Keanu Reeves got intoxicated from the blood of babies. If this sounds unreal to you, you would be correct. Fake news seems to be an epidemic of contemporary times. However, it has been around even before the printing press era. Joanna M. Burkhardt says that before the printing press was invented, forms of writing was inscribed on materials such as stone and papyrus. This meant that limited people would have access to the inscriptions and could read them, mainly leaders such as pharaohs, emperors, and priests. In the 6th century AD, Procopius of Caesarea smeared the late Emperor Justinian with fake news. As the principal historian of Byzantium, Procopius supported Justinian. After the death of the emperor, however, Procopius used wild and unverifiable fake news to discount the last emperor, distancing himself from the old court. With the introduction of the printing press came the spread of literacy, even amongst the common people of the era, and that led to the increase of fake news. In this era, Edgar Allan Poe was credited with writing at least 6 accounts of fake news. One story included a newspaper hoax claiming a balloonist had crossed the Atlantic Ocean in 3 days. His account was plausible, with an incredible focus to detail, and only discredited after reporters failed to find the balloonist. While the spread of fake news is impactful in the short term, it can also impact people in the long run by recording incorrect events as history. An example of this would be the expulsion of the Soviet advisors from Egypt in 1972. This was debunked by Isabel Guinor and Gideon Remez in their article How Fake News Becomes Fake History. Though the event is recorded as Egypt expelling Soviets' advisors from the country, they agreed to go back as part of negotiations that went down between the US, Egypt, and the USSR. As you can see, fake news has been around and been dangerous for a long period of time. It affects the public's ability to partake in conversations because it can conceal and hinder a person's ability to see the truth. We're joined here today by Christine, a media expert, to give insight into fake news. Christine, what do you think?
Quite bluntly, fake news is annoying, but it can also be very dangerous. Using the example from Stephanie Busari's TED Talk, How Fake News Does Real Harm, there were hundreds of Chibok girls kidnapped from their villages by a terrorist group. Government officials passed it off as a hoax, fake news, and as a result, it was years before negotiations were made to free some of the stolen girls. Real lives were at stake. Real lives still are at stake when people share misinformation and fake news. However, there is hope. As seen in PBS's student reporting labs video, News or Not, high school students are aware of the dangers of fake news and its effects.
Let's roll the clips.
It's weakening trust between the media and the audience.
No one knows what to trust and what not to trust anymore.
I believe that it's the new epidemic because people don't understand how fast fake news spreads.
Michela Del Vicario says that a confirmation bias is when users on social media select information that adhere to their existing beliefs. Combine this with confirmation bias with users forming polarized groups over these beliefs, and you have an echo chamber. Echo chambers are very dangerous in that there is little variety between opinions, which limits a person's ability to make informed choices. Echo chambers often feed on themselves, intensifying or exaggerating the confirmed beliefs, similar to how the Nazis used propaganda to justify discrimination against the Jewish population.
Information is key in today's society, and the truth is, fake news hinders a person's ability to both find and consume factual information. This inability to access good information, in turn, affects a person's ability to participate and contribute in debates over important topics and decisions. Oftentimes, fake news employs certain techniques that can be related to propaganda and rhetoric to hook viewers into it. Some of those techniques include anchors such as Trump's Make America Great Again and repetition.
Billions and 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 billions.
So with the dangers and annoyances of fake news, you may ask, where do we go from here? Well, I'd like to bring conflict resolution counselor Carrie to the table because she has some of the answers you're looking for.
Yeah, hi Kat. So, Stephen Covey wrote a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He explains differences between the circle of concern and the circle of influence. The circle of influence is when people focus their energy on things they cannot control, such as other people or politics in another country. When it comes to fake news, operating in the circle of concern means looking to big corporations like Facebook to crack down on the spreading of disinformation. Not that this would never work. Renee DeRister writes that social media companies have information that the government does not. So, if they fight fake news, they need to make it a joint effort in order to be effective. Another way to work within the circle of concern is expecting schools to teach children about media literacy. However, if it's your children, then you might be operating within the circle of influence because as a parent, you might have a say in what your school is teaching your child. The circle of influence, of course, being what you can control. So, what can you do to battle fake news? DeRista also says that you should always check before sharing an article. A quick Google search can make all the difference. But if you already know this, how can you encourage others to practice media literacy skills? It's important to remember that not everyone is media savvy and to approach them gently. You can try using I statements. For example, I understand why you would be concerned that Joel Osteen's sail-through flooded Houston after Harvey on a yacht, but you might want to check that story is in fact true.
Fake, 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 definitely fake, loser, fakest loser. Welcome to the Fake News Awards, which are totally real, unlike the really fake news, which is fake and not real. For real.
This is a Fox News alert. The Trump administration just announced the winners of the hotly anticipated Fake News Awards. Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry is at the White House with the results.
Go ahead. Quiet, quiet. Go ahead. She's asking a question. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news. Go ahead.
It didn't put in what I said about the Prime Minister, and I said tremendous things. And fortunately, we tend to record stories now, so we have it for your enjoyment if you'd like it. But we record when we deal with reporters. It's called fake news.